Hello, welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Porky Chops, and with me today to perhaps eat some Porky Chops later on is my good friend Manny Cruz. Say hi.
You know, now you put me in the mood to eat some chuletas. Little Spanish lesson. Chuleta means pork chop. Chuleta frita is fried pork chop. Pork chop. First Simpsons reference. Let's go.
Let's go. So, just a few bits of information here. So, this is Porky Chops. It was released on the 12th of February 1949. It's the 548th of the series, and it's directed by Art Davis. And you can find this on the Looney Tunes Gold Collection Volume 1 DVD set and on the Platinum Collection Volume 1 Blu-ray set, which tells me that someone really likes this cartoon over at Warner's. Could be one of Jerry Beck's favorites, who knows. But, just in case you haven't seen this one, it's very straightforward, and that's what we'll get into once we go into the review. But essentially, a squirrel's on vacation, and he's trying to get some sleep in the North Woods, but is disturbed by Porky, who happens to be a lumberjack now. So, yeah, it's basically the squirrel versus Lumberjack Porky, or as the squirrel says, Lumberjackson Porky.
Gee, you don't have to fly off the handle like that.
And in terms of trivia, really, there's nothing, although there is a sports reference that I'll get Manny to mention because he knows way more about that sort of stuff than me. But I do want to point out that this is the second last Porky that Davis did, and it's the third last short in Davis's directing run, not counting the one-off he did much later in the 60s. So, Manny, well, I mean, first of all, do people bring pennants with them on vacation in the US or something, showing off the sports team or something? Because I thought that was pretty weird.
I mean, in 2022, obviously you could wear your favorite team shirt, hat. You could have a phone case of your favorite team. But in the 1940s, I mean, if you go on vacation, you really want to show your dedication to your team. I think that was the in thing to do. And this squirrel, who has no name, I guess we'll just call him the Zoot Suit Squirrel, has a nice ring to it, is a big fan of the Brooklyn Dodgers, and he made sure to put it on his wall when he went out to the North Woods. I love the way that... I brought this up to you before we recorded it, but I think that this character, I mean, it's Bugs Bunny in a squirrel suit. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I think that this was a way for, Art Davis to implement Bugs in a short without having Bugs, because he had the least seniority. His directing unit was lowest on the seniority chart. I mean, he only did one Bugs short, and the one he did was an incredible one. But, I guess it was his way of just, flexing his Bugs Bunny chops without, pun intended, without directly having the character.
Indeed. Although they probably would have changed up the story if he could use Bugs Bunny, because you can't really imagine him in a tree. They probably would have had him in a hole and Porky some kind of a digger guy, or I don't know. Anyway, I'm probably thinking too much into it.
Chop, chubby. Blow, Joe. Hit the road. I'm gonna get me a little shut-eye. And so are you. Now scream, Ham.
This one's really, really solid. It's one of those shorts where, okay, it's not anything, I suppose, special, so to speak, but it's really solid, and I could watch this one a lot. Especially things like when Porky says, fly off the handle. Like, I just like silly things like that. I mean, how great is that? And he's constantly chopping that, trying to chop that tree.
Oh, that part, I really got a big kick out of it. I mean, there's something about, when the squirrel is going around the tree and he puts the metal sheet around and he starts drilling in the rivets. And I just love what they decided to do. Like, it looks like the squirrel is floating around the tree while he's drilling. And it's just like the way that it was drawn, animated and whatever. I just thought it was like, one thing you'll say about an Art Davis cartoon, you never get bored with the animation. And throughout the whole cartoon, just seeing, off the top of my head, seeing stuff from Emery Hawkins and Bill Melendez, and, just, it's a feast for the eyes. Going back to that part, though, with, flying off the handle and with him breaking the axes when he's trying to chop the tree down, I thought that was a missed opportunity from Carl Stalling to use the famous anvil chorus from the Giuseppe Verdi opera Il Trovatore, da, 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 da. I thought that would have been like a nice little gag as he's breaking the different axes against the tree during that part. But, I was not around in the 40s to help Stalling and Franklin out. The opening title has Piggy Wiggy Woo, which I always got a kick out of that song. Home on the Range, obviously in the beginning. When a buddy starts nailing the Brooklyn Dodgers pennant on top of the wall, you hear Under a Strawberry Moon. Now, quick side story about that one. One of the earliest cartoons I ever saw was The Case of the Missing Hair. I had it on a public domain tape that my mom got me when I was super little. And in that cartoon, you hear the same song during the part where, Bugs is talking to the magician just before he hits him in the face with the blackberry pie.
Forgive me, my friend. Do you like blackberry pie? No. Did you say blackberry pie? Yummy.
For years, I'm like, what is that song? I think it's such a neat little melody, whatever. And it wasn't until, I'd say about a year ago, that I found out the name of the song, and I found a recording of a singer. I forgot her name, sometime in the 40s. And it's just like, when I was rewatching this cartoon and when I heard Under a Strawberry Moon, like my ears perked up. I was like, yay, I love this song. And going back to when the Squirrel was nailing the Brooklyn Dodgers pennant on there, for those of you that are unaware, the Brooklyn Dodgers have not been the Brooklyn Dodgers for 64 years, if I'm not mistaken. So the Dodgers were originally from, the New York City borough of Brooklyn. They moved to California in 1958, and since 1958, they've been the Los Angeles Dodgers. They've been doing pretty well the past few seasons, and I think they won the World Series in 2020. And they also won the World Series the year I was born, 1988. So there's your baseball trivia for the day. Enjoy, folks.
And also, I just want to point out a few things that I really enjoyed. I mean, the sheriff gag, when Porky's completely out of it, he's holding those two bananas, and that killed me. I really, really enjoyed that.
I thought you'd never get here. Which way did they go? Which way did they go? They went that way, Sheriff. You can head them off at the pass. Now, wait a minute.
There was also one continuity error, or animation mistake, whatever you want to call it, where Porky's got the shotgun, he sees the eyes in the tunnel, he hears a roar, thinking it's a bear, but then in the next shot, the gun completely disappears. But look, will it affect my enjoyment of the cartoon? No, I just thought, gun's disappeared. Okay, sure. But I wanted to ask you, Manny, and I'll get you guys in the comments to let me know as well. If Davis's unit had continued, do you think he would have used this Squirrel character more?
I mean, he eventually got to do Bowery Bugs, but I think that if they didn't automatically give him more Bug shorts, he would have maybe continued with this one, maybe see how the audience reacted to him. Because the character was not a bad character. I thought he was funny. I thought he was, charming. I always get a kick whenever Mel Blanc does a New York accent, but it depends. I think if they still prevented him from doing Bugs, he would have been forced to using the Squirrel. But if not, I think he would have gone exclusively with Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, I mean, I love this character, but if you think about it, he might have been just better off as a one-off character, because who knows what you could have done with this character with other characters. In fact, again, he doesn't even have a name here, which, hey, a lot of characters like Hippity Hopper didn't have their name set up in their very first shorts. So, also, guys, let me know in the comments, what would you call this squirrel? I mean, I know that Manny, you said the Zoot Suit Squirrel, but if you can think of a better name or any other name, definitely let us know. It'll be interesting to see. But before we get into the rating, I got to point out the ending. It's yet again another very strange ending. Now, it's a funny ending, to be sure, but there's two interesting things about it. One, why did he feel the need to put on the squirrel's zoot suit or whatever it is to go to bed? Like, why? Why did he need to do that? Like, more importantly, look how big the bear is before that scene and the size of those tree trunks. And look at, did this tree magically grow? I mean, What would you say to that, Manny?
I mean, what are we supposed to believe, that this is some kind of a, a magical tree or something? Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
I love that voices. But look, of course, we're not going to look too deeply into it. It's still a funny ending. We're just having a bit of fun with that. But yeah, it's just weird how all of a sudden this tree's really huge for this bear. But anyway, that's another thing entirely. But I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10 in terms of rating. It's a solid short. It is one of Davis's best, I feel. It's nothing flashy. And the reason it's not perhaps 10 out of 10 is because it's not, to me anyway, it's not particularly memorable. Anyway, what say you on the rating on this one?
I had a rating already in mind, but after talking about it a little bit more, I'm looking at it a little bit more fondly. I won't put it in 8, but I'd give it a 7.5. It's a solid short, great animation. The squirrel was entertaining, not only the voice but the characterization. I'm a big Porky fan. I thought Porky was really good in this one, and despite the magical tree blunder, I think it did pretty well.
Indeed. So that'll do it for this one. As always, guys, thank you so much for listening. Feedback's always welcome. Definitely let us know of a name for this squirrel, just for the heck of it. And what do you think of this cartoon? And until next time, take care.
Now I want some pork chops.
Paper boy into 6th.